I've just returned from 3 weeks in the United States, including a week in Washington, D.C., where the discourse seems to continue to be carried out like Twitter with all caps. There's a growing tumult about the U.S. transatlantic relationship following the NATO summit in Europe, and in particular following the summit meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Helsinki. On top of that, we've got growing concerns about the U.S. relationship with Iran, which is actually itself in all caps. Beyond the security issues, however, there is a growing and underlying concern about the economic half of the global system. In fact, the last 2 years have been very difficult for the economic aspects of what we call the liberal rules-based global order. From Brexit, from the decision of the United States to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade negotiations, to the decision on the part of the United States to apply steel tariffs to its allied countries, utilizing a law that allows the U.S. president to declare national security interests in applying such tariffs, which has obviously ruffled the feathers of allies from Australia to Canada to Japan to Germany. And on top of that, some duress involved with some rancorous renegotiations of the North American Free Trade Agreement, and what appears to be a very real risk of a trade war, an actual trade war between the United States and China. There clearly is a cause for concern and a lot of concern in this arena more broadly. Closer to home, however, there are some signs of hope, or things are positive developments that we are able to focus on. When President Trump, on what was almost the first day of his presidency, decided to withdraw the United States from the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade agreement negotiations, myself included, most analysts saw little hope, at least in the short term, of any progress on what is a very important regional free trade agreement. Against my expectations, and to my great delight, however, with tremendous leadership from the governments of Japan and Australia, in March of this year, they concluded what is called the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or the CPTPP. You'll see there'll be more than one tongue twister during the course of this conversation. The CPTPP is also called the TPP-11 or the TPP-1, in that it does not involve the largest economy in that agreement, the United States. The fact that it continued, the fact that both Japan and Australia and the other parties decided to continue to articulate their interest in a regional agreement is, I think, probably one of the most significant and underreported developments in the past year. In addition to the TPP, you've also got ongoing negotiations on the Regional Cooperative Economic Partnership Agreement. So at least in the Indo-Pacific, there are ongoing efforts to build institutions, as difficult as that process might be, rather than tear them down. And so where we see devolution almost everywhere else, in this region we continue to see some degree of construction in terms of standards and norms and organizations and agreements. And I think that is something that's worth celebrating. In recognizing how important these trends are for Australia and for the Indo-Pacific more broadly, the Perth US Asia Center has launched a new Economics of the Indo-Pacific series of reports. And thanks to our head of research, Dr. Jeffrey Wilson, we have attached the first 2 reports in this series to the newsletter that is attached here. The first of these is a new report on the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or the CPTPP, and is focused in particular on expanding the CPTPP. Now, what makes that significant is that just this week, the negotiating parties to the CPTPP have agreed that in early 2019 they will begin negotiations anew on the requirements for expansion, for adding to the TPP. And already countries like Indonesia and Thailand and the Republic of Korea have expressed their interest in joining. And so again, this takes what is already a positive narrative and adds to that. The second report is also something that involves a very important economic partner of Australia, that is the Republic of Korea. And it's a deep dive look at the trade and investment relationships between Australia and the Republic of Korea. Both these things add to our understanding of the region. We hope they will be of use to policymakers, to academics, to government leaders, to business leaders, as we hope to understand the region and particularly in this current era give us a little bit of a hope about the trajectory of the region and the world. Thank you.